Thank you very much, all members. We may be seated. Thank you. Thank you very much, all members. We are now back to the debates of the reports that were presented, and we will start with a report on the portfolio committee on agriculture, and it will be debated by honorable members. And honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, before I call members to debate the report, I would like to inform the House that members of the public will only observe the proceedings as honorable members are debating, because members of the public were already given an opportunity to do so this morning. And I will therefore ask for the Democratic Alliance. We are going to debate agriculture is Honorable Mala. And the very oh yeah, your 9 minutes starts now. Ne?
Thank you, Honourable Chair of Chairs. I wanted to say our MEC for Agriculture looks prachtig vandag, but I'm going to refer that to our Honourable Chair of Chairs to say, you look prachtig in that blue suit today. Members, honourable members and fellow guests from Buffalo City, landbou is nie net oor plant en ploeg nie. Dit is 'n strategiese plan teen droogte, 'n plan teen peste, teen onvrugbare grond en nog vele meer. Sonder boere en ons boeregemeenskap is daar nie vleis nie, daar gaan nie mieliepap wees nie, daar gaan nie groente wees nie, daar gaan leë borde wees. Honourable Chair of Chairs, today we take a moment to recognize the spirit that keeps our province moving forward. The spirit of resilience, of ordinary people who do extraordinary things under very difficult circumstances and challenges that you face on a daily basis with limited resources and economic headwinds. So as we discuss the report before us, let us start by taking a moment to celebrate the women and the youth who are our forefront, I beg your pardon, of driving progress in our province. People like Nandi Sodwele from Bazana, who stood out this year in the Provincial Women's Entrepreneurs Awards for her maize processing mill, who supplies to schools, livestock farmers and retailers and employed almost 20 people. Then entities like the Bufeso Agri Enterprise and the Nodeas Hoek Farm Project for their innovation and community impact. These projects show that resilience and enterprise do walk side by side. Mag die voorbeeld wat julle skep, so saad wees wat wyd gesaai word. Today we bring the legislature to the people so that government may listen and not educate. And I want to repeat, for government to listen to the people and not to lecture. The gathering reminds us of democracy. We must walk to show us what the people are walking on a daily basis, where they work and what and where they live. So during our oversight visit across Buffalo City Metro, we met people with perseverance, those that are keeping food on our tables. whether it was the maize fields, whether it was the pineapple orchards, whether it was the small holding cooperatives. One truth stood out: our people, our farmers are strong. But unfortunately, our government systems are failing to match our people's efforts, your efforts. Many projects that began with hope now struggle because of unclear direction, poor infrastructure, and inconsistent departmental support. Farmers are producing, but they cannot support or transport their goods to and from the markets. Promising initiatives are held back with broken boreholes, outdated machinery, and Eskom or electricity accounts that's not being paid, bringing operations to a total standstill. Year after year, we find the same challenges resurfacing here, and year after year, we receive the same promises. The Eastern Cape Rural Development Agency itself has acknowledged that it lacks resources and a clear mandate, but yet money continues to be spent year in, year out with minimum results. Clearly, Speaker, or the Chair of Chairs, the issue is not a shortage of funds only, but it's actually a shortage of accountability. When leaders do not appear for oversights, when budgets are announced but not followed through by delivery, we know something deeper is wrong. Die vis vrot van sy kop af, mense. When accountability fails at the top, the whole institution will suffer and will be weakened, and the people will pay the price and they will suffer. Honourable Chair of Chairs, the Department's approach to agricultural support remains fragmented. One tractor here, a grant may be there, a fence to be built, all good and well, and it might find headlines. But unfortunately, it does not create sustainability for the people of the Eastern Cape, and in this case, for Buffalo City residents. What we need is a provincial strategy that links local production and the markets with proper planning and partnerships to move forward. The DA's alternative is grounded on a practical reform. We believe in blended finance that combines your public investment with private capital. We believe in public-private partnerships that will manage our storage facilities to the best abilities. We believe in empowering our youth. And all above, we believe in transparency, so that every rand that is spent in this department can be traced from Bishu to the fields of Buffalo City in this case, and to the fields of the Eastern Cape. This approach has worked elsewhere, and we see that the proper management and consistent oversight have turned struggling initiatives into stable enterprises, creating jobs and food security. The same can be achieved here in Buffalo City when we replace delay with delivery, when we replace favoritism with performance. The people of Buffalo City is not asking for handouts. They are asking for fairness. They're asking for opportunity. They're asking for dignity that comes from work that they do. They want roads that can carry their products from and to the markets. They want training that will lead to real job opportunities. They want leaders to keep to their promises. Chair of Chairs, agriculture remains one of the few sectors that is capable of transforming our beautiful province into prosperity. One that will create jobs for the youth, one that will bring stability to families, and one that will bring food security in our province. But that will only happen if government focus on the basics. And what are those basics that the people of Buffalo City wants to see? They want reliable infrastructure, they want clean governance, and they want credible partnerships that puts the people before politics. And I want to repeat, to put the people before politics. So let us move away from words that we say and we think it can, towards results and towards action. Let us ensure that every project we fund becomes a place of learning, prosperity, and hope. The DA stands ready to work with anyone that believes in a thriving, inclusive, agricultural economy, one that will bring hope to the people of Buffalo City, one that will bring hope to the people of the Eastern Cape. Our farmers have always shown that they can adapt and they will survive. 'n boer maak 'n plan, mense. And that is why I'm saying, Chair of Chairs, it is time for this government to make a plan, but not only a plan that will work for the people. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mala. Honorable Zinti, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Honorable Chair of Chairs. Let us be honest with ourselves. Our agriculture projects in Buffalo City are not where they should be. The soil is rich, the people are ready, but the system is failing them. What we have seen is not a shortage of potential, it is a shortage of accountability. At Necha, a once promising macadamia project now stands in ruin, vandalized pipes, unpaid workers, and wasted investment. At Sikhengle, farmers cannot irrigate because power has been cut over an unpaid ESCOM bill. Honorable Speaker, the tragedy here is not just in what has collapsed, but in who is affected. These are families who depend on the land for survival. We must face it. Oversight without consequence is theater. We cannot continue producing reports that gather dust while livelihood are destroyed. The department must act with agency and precision. Every failed project must carry a name, a deadline, and accountability. And yet there is light where leadership and discipline prevail. The Kagawul project stands as proof that with structure, training, and proper support, rural farmers can produce and profit. Hillview's agroecology model shows the power of innovation, particularly when women and youth are given the tools to lead. These are examples that must define our approach going forward. What must be done is not complicated. Fix the basics: water, power, fencing, and equipment. Maintain what already exists, fund what works, and stop recycling failure. Most importantly, restore the dignity of our farmers. Give them reason to believe that government is still on their side. Speaker, agriculture is not a charity. It is the backbone of our rural economy and the heartbeat of our communities. When it fails, hope fails. When it thrives, so does our province. Let us stop explaining failure and start delivering progress, firmly, transparently, and with our people at the center of every decision. I thank you. The UDM support the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zindi. Honorable Mampof, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you to the House at large. For me, it would be a good thing not to present, because people have spoken. This is taking legislature to the people. We are giving people a chance to speak their pain. To go around and trying to do some trick won't help us. Otherwise, it will prolong the process of healing of this country. But all the representatives of the wards, of the 50 wards that were here, they were speaking about the situation in this municipality. And trying to deny that would mean we have not taken our mandate from them. Abantu bathethile. Okwethu ngoku kuba masijonge basilungisa indlela zethu nabantu kuba sibekwa ngabo basoba lapha. Iparlamente lithemba lokugqibela labantu. Xa abantu belapha iparlamente balindele into yokuba noko baphume bephethe ithemba. Ithetha le nto ke ndibuhlungu apha ngaphakathi, because xa sithetha nge-agriculture kweli phondo lelona yeza lingakwazi uba lifanele bathuthuzela abantu. Because i-agriculture, you don't need much to make it a reality on the ground. unlike ezinye sectors. Now, if we're failing them by making excuses, these 8 projects that were visited by this legislature, as far as they are saying, means nothing to them. It simply means we have to do something. This is just a drop in the ocean. We need to do a lot in order to change the situation. As African Transformation, we declare this without any fear and reservation. Agriculture is the core thing that can change this province. If we run away from that, we are failing ourselves, not anyone else. I support what is being said by these people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Mampofu. I'll call upon the African National Congress, Honorable Chameleon Benjamin. Your 14 minutes starts now.
Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier in absentia, Honorable members of the Executive Council, Honorable members of the Legislature, Deputy Chief Whip, is my pad, so I blame my sachiso. Ja man, jy gaan my nie lekker. I'm fine. Honorable Chair of Chairs, leaders of the African National Congress and its alliance, leaders of the political parties represented in this House, chairpersons of the Eastern Cape House of Traditional Leaders, religious fraternity, our Khoi and San communities, our esteemed guests, and fellow South Africans, ek groet julle almal. Honorable Chair of Chairs, as a province, we need to strengthen rural development that ANC-led government established as a cornerstone of eradicating hunger and poverty. Since 1994, significant gains had been made in infrastructural provisions, yet key obstacles remain. The one important area in which action is required is that agriculture development. Serious challenges of poverty and unemployment prevail in our rural areas, which need to be addressed as a matter of urgency. Small farming continues to play a key role in South African agriculture. However, climate variabilities, lack of appropriate agriculture infrastructure, shortage of farming skills, high level of soil degradation, and tough economic conditions, like was said by the participants here today, lack of energy are amongst constraints facing small-scale agricultural productivity in South Africa. Honorable Chair of Chairs, the challenges of agriculture sustainability has become more intense in recent years with climate change, water scarcity, degradation of the ecosystems, services, and biodiversity. And we need to do more for our people to understand that, because it is a new phenomenon that some of us really don't understand as yet. Unsustainable farming practices, climate change, education, poor infrastructure and logistics, limit access to production inputs and equipment, and access to markets and credit remain some of the key challenges that are faced by some, if not most, of our small-scale farmers. As we heard here today, they need implements to assist them. In order to provide food security, jobs needs to be created, and the issue of land therefore becomes very critical for young people to start cooperatives, which is why the African National Congress in its Freedom Charter is very clear on the expropriation of land, as it seeks to address racial skewed ownership patterns dating back to colonialism and white minority rule. Of ons dit nou wil herken of herken nie, ons mense sit nog altyd sonder grond, alhoewel was hulle grond afgevat sonder enige betaling. The issues of land rights, specifically the rights to restitution and redistribution, is an important issue of justice and human rights which we must urgently address. The Freedom Charter, the Constitution, and the National Development Plan embody a vision of South Africa in which development is progressive and inclusive. Poverty, unemployment, and inequality currently affecting the dispossessed and poorest of the poor was deliberately engineered by the colonial and apartheid governments through expropriation of their land and livestock without compensation. We are unapologetic in stating that in order for the land reform to be achieved, expropriation needs to take place without compensation. Although through our policies, the ANC government was successful in stabilizing the economy post-1994, the fundamental structural inequality of South Africa's economy has not been transformed in many fundamental ways. For instance, capital in South Africa is racialized and is predominantly owned by whites. Capital for black families is virtually absent, and ons almal weet dit is die waarheid. Land ownership and the divide between rural black agriculture practices and the white commercial agribusinesses remains entrenched. We should professionalize the public service to enable coordination of the implementation of programs and service delivery. We must rebuild regulatory and law enforcement agencies that have been completely compromised by the historical distortions and current state capture phenomenon. Land reform must be accelerated and linked to programs to provide agri-industry. Land reform should be based on the understanding that land is a productive resource for producing food and for other purposes, and all land reform programs should be linked to improve production and employment outcomes. The Portfolio Committee embarked on an oversight visit in Buffalo City Metro Municipality together with ECRDA, wherein they visited selected farms and projects, and the following findings were made. Most farms have deteriorated boundary fencing, posing risk of theft and livestock loss, as we heard here today. Dams, the primary source for many farms, are heavily silted and reducing water capacity. Farms acquired through land distribution and agricultural development LRED show signs of abandonment and underutilization. Roads leading to farms are projects are in bad condition, and many farms and projects lack basic infrastructure such as storage facilities, irrigation systems, and mechanized equipments. Honorable Chair of Chairs, poverty and ensuring a better life for all is that at the helm of the African National Congress policies, and significant progress has been made in this regard. Anti-apartheid initiatives has been successfully mainstreamed into the planning and implementation of government programs and is in the budgeting process. Moreover, government policies orientation has been targeted at the poorest of the poor. However, there is still much that we need to do. Certain groups in our society continue to be vulnerable to poverty. Success in tackling poverty and social exclusion requires that every sector play its part. There needs to be a national mobilization towards common political and social goals. The African National Congress welcomes the adoption of this report. Mandla. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Benjamin. I will call upon the MEC to respond to the debate. MEC, your 10 minutes starts now.
Thank you so much, Chair of Chairs, and good afternoon to you, the Honorable Premier, the Speaker, Chief Whip of the Majority Party or the Chief Whip of the Legislature, honorable members of this legislature, and our friends, the media houses, Nabantu Balape Buffalo City and the councillors, Molweni, Chair of Chairs, injongo yethu sebe lezolimo ukuphuhlisa, ukulwa indlala, ukuqinisekisa ukuba abantu batya ukutya okusegazini, ukususela kosezantsi ukuze bazimele. Sixhasa amafama ukuze akhule nawo aphele eyeka ukuba kuthiwe ngamafama akhasayo, koko babe ngamafama angosomashishini. Loo nto iza kuthi iguqule impilo kunye nokuncedisa ekunyiseni izinga loqoqosho lweliphondo. The Department of Agriculture is steadily advancing its work to transform rural economy in the province. Guided by the medium term and our provincial development plan, we are not only responding to the findings of the oversight committee, but we are also strengthening the foundations of agricultural growth and sustainability. Injongo yethu ke nantsi. Kukwenza ukuba ezolimo zibe sisixhobo esisebenzayo nokuphelisa intlupheko nendlala. Kukudala amathuba emisebenzi, ukukhusela ukhuseleko lokutya, ensures food security. Asithethi ngamazwi nje ke, kodwa sibonisa izenzo eziphilayo nezinokubonakala kumhlaba wethu. In fact, the province has declared agriculture as the mainstay, the backbone and the cornerstone for transforming people's lives for the best. With us losing other services like business and investments, the land remains our only hope. Therefore, we call upon people to work the land. Umhlaba ke lilifa lethu kweliphondo. Kaloku umhlaba sisixhobo sethu sokulwa indlala ukuze kungabikho nalunye usapho olulala lungatyanga. Xa sikhuthaza abantu bethu ukuba basebenze umhlaba, sibakhuthaza ukuba bavuselele isidima sabo, bavule amathuba amatsha emisebenzi, bazibandakanye ngokuzimiselayo kuqoqosho lweliphondo. Ii-projects zabantu asikwazi uzivusa thina silisebe. Siyacela abantu bakhangele abantu abangabanini beprojects abathi zifile, bancedisene nabo ukuzivusa, babuye bazocela inkxaso apha kuthi silisebe. Honorable Chair of Chairs, sineenkqubo esizikhokelayo silelisebe ezibonala ngokuba zisiza utshintsho ebantwini. Through the Ilima Lokulima program, we continue to empower smallholder and emerging farmers across the districts of the Eastern Cape, ensuring that they not only produce, but also they thrive. The initiative of rekindling the spirit of self-resilience, masithi masibuyeleni embo, apho sibumbane, sikhasane, simanyane, debe sisebenzisane. Into agriculture kawunoyenza wedwa. Surely ifuna unity nokuba abantu abathandi nakanjani na. This program is already contributing to transforming subsistence producers into commercial farmers with access to markets. The department is always calling upon and assisting farmers to access markets. Ngale nkqubo sibona iziphumo ezithembisayo kwimveliso yombona, imifuno kunye nokufuya iinkukhu, ihagu. Kubonakala ngokucacile ukuba xa urhulumente kunye noluntu besebenzisana kunokubakho inguqu nendlala siyinyashe iphele ithi tu. The initiative of commercialization of 100 farms stands as our flagship of transformation, a bold statement that youth and women, military veterans, and people with disability must find their place at the center of agricultural renewal. Each farm serves as a model of mentorship, mechanization, innovation, showing that it is possible when support and commitment come together. Every one of us here, if we have eaten, you must know that and thank the farmer. Ngamanye amazwi, la ngamaphulo anombono koko angumbono nje ayinyaniso. We will see the contribution to developing even the youth. Honorable Mayor. Thank you so much. Our irrigation schemes revitalization program remains a vital anchor for food production. Reviving these schemes means reviving communities, bringing water to the fields, hope to the homes, and productivity to the land. Working with Christian Development Agency and ECRDA, we have enhanced the project governance to safeguard every rand invested while ensuring that communities are owners and beneficiaries of this change. One of the toughest challenges facing smallholder farmers has been to access to finance. The department also always assists farmers to access finance, but always remember, T's and C's apply, even though we can assist you, terms and conditions apply. Thank you for that. That is why we have strengthened a partnership with Land Bank, because government cannot do it alone. Therefore, partnering with private sector, also assisting, developing blended finance solutions to support farmers who lack formal collateral. Galendlela, naba balimi bangakwazi ukufumana imali imboleko ngenxa yokungabi nazo iziqinisekiso bayakuxhamla kuba urhulumente uqinisekisa ukuba akukho mlimi ushiywa ngasemva. We're equally engaging with commodity associations and private agribusinesses to secure market for our farmers. Our message is simple. Production must lead to profit, not poverty. When farmers can sell their produce at a fair value, they build wealth, sustain jobs, and strengthen economies. Asifuni ubona imveliso iqokelelwa ezibayeni ingangeni into. Sifuna ukuyibona isenza ingeniso, incedisa kwisidlo nesidima soluntu. We are embracing climate smart agriculture, introducing hydroponics, smart boxes, and water sufficient systems to overcome the challenges of drought and erratic rainfall. Ngamafutshane sitshintshela kwindlela ezintsha zobuchwepheshe banamhlanje ezisebenzisa ukuze imveliso yethu iqhubeke nokukhula nokuba imvula ayikho. Through the Youth in Agriculture and Rural Development Program, young people are stepping into farming with energy, digital know-how, using drones, data, innovation to make farming modern and profitable. Budlelwane bethu ke ne-Fort Cox ne-Tadi or agricultural colleges buqinisekisa ukuba uphando, research, uqeqesho kunye nomsebenzi wamafama kuyanceda kokuthe ngqo abo baqalayo bezolimo. This is how we build sustainability, by training today's youth to become tomorrow's agricultural leaders. Good governance is not just administrative exercise. It is the lifeblood of transformation. The department continues to strengthen oversight over ECRDA, acknowledging the challenges that they have. Sisebenzisana nabantu bethu inkosi zemveli omasipala njenge Buffalo City. We know that they have programs ezilapha kwa agricultural programs. We are going to collaborate with them so that we avoid double dipping, because you will find that they will issue out some agricultural inputs we issue to the same people. So working together with Buffalo City will help us so that we avoid this double dipping. Agriculture thrives where leadership is transparent, ethical, and people-driven. Honorable Chair of Chairs and members, our mission is of a developmental state, one that restores dignity through opportunity. Njengoko lo mbutho ukhokelayo i-African National Congress uthethe ngokucacileyo ukuba umhlaba ufuneka uvelise, uxhase intsapho, ulwe indlala. When our people tilt the soil, they hold the key freedom and self-sufficiency. Abantu ke mabaphethule umhlaba bethule. Siphiwe izandla nguThixo ukuze sikwazi ukuzisebenzisa. Kulapho ke ichiza lokulwa indlala likhoyo. To the Honorable Portfolio Committee members, your oversight strengthens and resolves our problem. We will address each recommendation as raised, integrate them into our operational plans, and monitor delivery closely. Ukubeka esweni kwezopolitiko akusiso isithintelo. Sisixhobo esenza urhulumente asebenze ngcono, ahlale ekwazisa abantu ngenkqubela yenkonzo. So we appreciate the robust oversight done by the Portfolio Committee, for it strengthens us. It makes us to perform better than
Honorable
yesterday.
Minister, Honorable, your time is up. Thank you very much.
Akone warning na, Chair of Chairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ndifike nami kuTV nexesha apha ndacima nazijonge. Honorable members, I put the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture. Any objection? We now come to the debate of the report of the Portfolio Committee on Community Safety. And Honorable Kruger, your 9 minutes starts now.
90 minutes. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Crime is destroying our communities. Misdaad vernietig ons gemeenskappe. Uluwapulo mteto, lushabalalisa uluntu lwetu. Honorable Chair, Buffalo City is a place of immense promise. A city with world-class infrastructure, like this very conference center that we stand in. a city framed by golden beaches, rolling hills, and the warmth of its people. A place with the climate, culture, and coastline to be a premier tourist destination and a beacon for investment and opportunity. But Chair, tourists will not come if they fear for their lives. Investors will not build where criminals rule. And the people of Buffalo City cannot prosper when safety has become a privilege instead of a right. Chair, as I walked through the corridors of this conference center this week, I couldn't help but notice the number of VIP bodyguards and private security surrounding us. Armed, alert, and everywhere. Their presence tells its own story. Those with power are protected, while outside this venue, the people of Buffalo City are left defenseless. Our recent oversight visits to the various police stations in the metro have highlighted just how harsh that undeniable truth is. The South Africa Police Service in this province is currently operating under significant constraints, leaving communities exposed and vulnerable. Our oversight engagement revealed that most police stations are crippled by understaffing and inadequate physical resources. Stations are grappling with a shortfall of officers, falling well below their fixed establishments, particularly in visible policing and our detective units. If you are lucky or patient enough to have your case opened, the chances are very slim that the criminal will in fact be brought to book. Detectives are in short supply. At the Dimbaza police station, detectives carry a caseload of 187 dockets per detective. These figures are deeply concerning. How can we justify asking one detective to juggle 187 dockets, more than triple the ideal caseload? Surely this is unsustainable, and it severely compromises our detectives' ability to investigate cases thoroughly. Chair, and then we wonder why criminals have become so brazen. Dit is onaanvaarbaar dat die mense van Buffalo City en die Oos-Kaap so moet leef. One of the tools used to combat criminality is visible policing. But how can you be visible when you have no vehicles to do patrols? Both Dimbaza and Konkoi police stations were worst affected by these inefficiencies, jeopardizing their ability to effectively serve their communities. The Dimbaza police station only has 6 operational vehicles, 4 of which are meant for visible policing. The Konkoi police station, which covers an area impacted by numerous kidnappings, is in a state of near collapse. Only 13 out of 33 vehicles are operational, and only 3 out of 16 are available for patrols, significantly undermining the effectiveness of visible policing. Another pressing issue that demands attention are the delays at the government garage. Why are there approximately 40 vehicles assigned to SAPs in BCM stuck in a government garage? Some have been there gathering dust for more than 3 months. Honorable MEC, who is being held accountable for this? Ons mense vrees vir hul lewens terwyl die voertuie in die garage staan. We cannot have police vehicles standing idle in garages while our women and our children are being raped and murdered. We cannot have detectives overburdened with cases while criminals walk the streets without fear. Now, earlier, the Honorable MEC responded to the public and he said that 200-odd new vehicles will come next year. But he was very quick to say they were not coming to Buffalo City Metro. You're on your own, BCM. Chair, these are real issues, not just inconveniences. And to ensure public safety across the province, police stations need to be adequately resourced. They need operational vehicles. This is not just a luxury, they are a lifeline. Safety cannot and should not be compromised due to government's inefficiency. During our oversight, several critical questions were raised, yet many were only partially answered by SAPs, revealing important gaps in accountability. When questioned about the current capacity of the crime intelligence unit in this province, and we didn't ask Nkwanazi, we asked our own general, it was revealed that only 23 students had been deployed to the unit in August, raising serious concerns about the operational effectiveness of our crime intelligence. These new recruits, while they are welcomed, will not provide any immediate relief because they still require lengthy training. The lack of urgency comes at a time when communities are being terrorized by kidnappings, gang networks, and organized syndicates that operate with impunity. Crime intelligence is not an optional extra in the fight against organized crime. Without timely intelligence, specialized units cannot be directed effectively, investigations falter, and prosecutions will collapse. Kidnappings and extortion remain a serious threat in this metro, and it is unacceptable that residents and business owners continue to live under siege while government's response remains peaceful and reactive. Recent breakthroughs in kidnapping cases have shown that collaboration with professional private security partners delivers results. However, according to reports from private security firms, there is no structured collaboration between them and law enforcement. Even more concerning in our oversight documents was that there is no relationship between SAPS and these private security firms, a missed opportunity in the fight against crime. The effectiveness of SAPS must therefore be questioned. There appears to be a disconnect between organized crime and the hawks, the various units who continue to work in silos. When a kidnapping case is opened, it is initially assigned to the organized crime unit. However, we are informed, once a ransom is demanded, it is then transferred to the hawks. Even more shockingly, we are informed that once the ransom is paid, the investigation is closed. Does this mean that there are no pursuits of these perpetrators? They get their money and their freedom, while the victims of these heinous crimes must live the rest of their lives looking over their shoulders, dealing with the trauma and financial loss. Is this justice? The Democratic Alliance proposes that the Honourable MEC brings together SAPS, the Hawks, Metro Police, the NPA and private security firms and BCM so that there can be a collaborative approach to dismantling these syndicates. Honourable Chair, the people of Buffalo City and of this province deserve to live free from fear. They deserve safety in their homes, protection on their streets, and confidence that those sworn to uphold the law have the tools and the intelligence to do so effectively. Abantu bafanelwa, khulumente, olukathatleleyo, ukuseleko lwabo. Die mense verdien 'n regering wat omgee vir hul veiligheid. Our people deserve a government who cares about their safety. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kruger, Honorable Mkosho, UDM, your 3 minutes.
Greetings to you, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Premier in absentia, everyone in the House, protocol observed. It is my submission, Honorable Chair of Chairs, according to Security Services, Chapter 11, Section 198 to 210 of National Security, must reflect the resolve of all South Africans as individuals, as United Nations, to live as equals in peace and harmony, free from fear and with opportunity to pursue a better life. However, we must ask ourselves whether the situation talks to that particular arrangement. The reality is no. Many residents of the Eastern Cape, in particular within the Buffalo City Metropolitan, BCM, live in constant fear due to increasing levels of crime and violence. Our people are exposed to numerous criminal activities, including sexual offenses, robbery at residential premises, burglary, drug-related crimes, illegal possession of firearms, extortion, etc. In BCM, fear has become a daily reality, especially among the elderly, women and children, as they suffer from consequences of illegal firearms and random shootings in the neighborhoods. In the visits, several police stations were observed that there is a serious shortage of essential resources, including visible policing units, detectives, and operational vehicles. Officers are struggling to perform their duties effectively due to their shortages of poor infrastructure. If we take Mdantsane Police Station as an example, the situation is concerning. The station serves a vast urban area of approximately 120 square kilometers, yet face a critical shortage of at least 22 members in visible policing, detectives' work and support services. East London continues to experience a high crime rate, particularly in cases of robbery, non-residential burglary, and vehicle theft. Recent reports indicate that Cambridge Police Station has become a hotspot for residential burglaries. East London now leads the province in theft of motor vehicles, motorcycles, and cases of kidnapping. The United Democratic Movement commends the excellent work done by the Community Policing Forum, CPF in Mdantsane, in helping reduce crime levels. However, more support and resources are urgently needed. The UTM also proposes that community volunteers, such as those serving under
Honorable
Mampanyane.
Mqosho, your time is up. Thank you very much. Honorable Ngabo, your 3 minutes starts now. Is Honorable Ngabo here? Honorable members, there is a time clock in front of you. So just now and again. Huh? Thank you. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Honorable Chair of Chairs, honorable members, the Mkondo Wesizwe Party rises to express grave concern following the committee oversight findings on the policing and community safety in Buffalo City. What we see in the report is not merely a policing problem, but a crisis of state failure and local province. Honorable Speaker, across the station like Mdantsane, Dimbaza, Gunubi, and East London, we found a police service. We found a police service that is in a strange way of breaking point, short-staffed, under-resourced, and demoralized. Officers are forced to patrol vast areas with too few vehicles, while others transport detainees to distant stations because holding cells are condemned or cut out of order. Some victims-friendly rooms that are meant to protect survivors of gender-based violence operate without furniture, privacy, or basic sanitation. This is a disgrace, and it violates the dignity and safety of our citizens, especially women. Women deserve the best. We cannot talk of safe Eastern Cape when even police stations cannot guarantee security within their own premises, when blue lamps don't work, when officers clean their own floors because there are no cleaners employed, and when government garages take months to repair patrol vehicle. Honorable Speaker, the MK party says clearly that a broken police station means a broken promise of justice. Crime thrives law enforcement where law enforcement is burdened by unemployment, substance abuse, street lighting. Those are the result of crime. We therefore call, as MKP, an urgent provincial audit of all police infrastructure in Buffalo City, the immediate filling of critical vacancies across stations, the rehabilitation of holding cells and victim-friendly rooms to meet the national norms and standards, and a joint provincial safety strategy that brings SAPS, COGTA, Public Works, and BCMM into coordinated plan. Honorable Speaker, The right to safety is not constitutional right, no, it's not a privilege for the law, but it's a constitutional right. The MK party will not remain silent while the people of this province live in fear. We say it is time to rebuild trust in policing, restore
Honorable
resources
Honorable
to our men and women.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Pretorius, your 40 minutes starts now.
Thank you. This is a new thing, this timer on the right, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I was just wondering where the EFF was this week. Our opposition looks a bit scattered. But let me start. Honourable Chair, Chair of Chairs, Honourable Premier, Member of the Legislature, members of the Legislature, distinguished guests and fellow citizens. Honourable Cowley is starting early today. I greet you all in the name of peace as we reflect on this crucial matter of community safety in Buffalo City Metro. Chair, let me start by saying the African National Congress supports the report as presented by the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee because it adequately covers the recommendations that we suggest to the findings made during the oversight visits, which we believe will strengthen community safety and policing in this metro. The report tabled reflects both the gains and the challenges we face in policing and community safety in the area, whereby we remain optimistic that working together, crime can be reduced in this district and the province at large. Martin Luther King says human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering and struggle, and the tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals. Close quote. Chairperson, we see this dedication in the men and women in blue, and many of what was presented to us during the oversight visit speaks to their unwavering commitment under the guidance of the Provincial Police Commissioner, Major General Kopiso. Honourable Chair of Chairs, the oversight visits covered a couple of police stations across the Buffalo City Metro, each facing unique safety challenges that call for specific policing measures. During these visits, we observed an encouraging level of cooperation between the police service, the Department of Community Safety, and the municipality, and we applaud the District Commissioner General Wright for his proactive manner in which he responded to our concerns raised and how he dealt with issues ranging from fake news of extortion at a fuel station in Tanzania to incorrect reporting of the media on the drug den bus that happened in the metro during recent times. Honourable Ngata did touch on that, so I won't dwell much on the drug den bus. Chair, the police stations visited highlight a range of operational realities from infrastructure improvements and functional community policing forums to challenges such as vehicle shortages and the need for better victim-friendly rooms. At East London, Kunubi and Dimbaza police stations, we found the stations to be quite understaffed, while Bisho station is overstaffed. Within Tanzania station, they must be applauded for the cleanliness of the station's holding cells, while within Yubiba station, the holding cells need urgent attention after a fire caused damage to the property. And Chair, as the ANC, we will continue to monitor such issues raised in the report until they are addressed. Honourable Chairperson, during our oversight visits, we heard various challenges and positives raised by stakeholders and community members during these meetings, and we take them all to heart towards advancing community participation in governance. Chair, allow me to single out one such stakeholder, Ms. Asunele Melapi, a social justice activist who works in the victim-friendly room at Konge Police Station. She started an NPO called Nokwanda Patoka GBV Foundation, named after her sister, who was brutally murdered in October 2021 in Ginsburg by her boyfriend, who is now serving a prison sentence for this crime. The NPO plays an active role within the VFR at the police station, where they work hand in hand with the relevant police units to help bridge the gap in emotional support. Ms. Melapi highlighted that, open quote, stronger relationships between SAPS and community organizations have improved trust and case reporting. Multi-stakeholder collaboration has led to faster referrals for shelter, counseling and court assistance, close quote. MEC, these are the type of selfless and caring citizens that we have to applaud for their courage, and we need to support them towards continuing the fight against gender-based violence. Ms. Melapi is also present here today. She was one of the stakeholders that spoke from the community, and she's seated over there, if she could just raise her hand. She embodies, Chair, the words Watinta Bafazi Watintu Mbukodo. And I would just like to encourage her to never tire in helping to heal others while you yourself are healing your own wounds in Mbukodo. Honorable Chair, we note recent successes and arrests in Buffalo City Metro, where on 10 September 2025, the Hawks successfully dismantled a violent kidnapping syndicate near Konge through a daring hostage rescue where 3 arrests were made. Also, the arrest last week of an East London school teacher and church leader allegedly involved in sexual exploitation and human trafficking is noted and appreciated. And this proves that our oversight is already yielding results, which Honorable Kruger has failed to report to you. Furthermore, we take note of the sentencing in East London Magistrates Court on 1 October 2025 of a police official involved in road accident fraud and another police official that appeared in the same court in East London in January on charges of theft at the Intelligence Office. These type of cases against police force members are testimony in dealing with corrupt cops, and we encourage the SAPS to continue this renewal process towards restoring and amplifying your intelligence units. Speaking of intelligence, Chairman, let us applaud law enforcement and intelligence units who arrested the suspected murder of Gqeberha prosecutor Tracy Brown. The Hawks released a statement on 23 August explaining their collaboration with various SAPS units in a multidisciplinary investigation to track the suspect who fled to Johannesburg, and on his way back, they intercepted him at a strategically coordinated roadblock near James Kalata en route to Komani in the early hours of the 21st of August. At Tracy Brown's memorial service on 7 August 2025, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mamaloka Kubai, also called on the police to leave no stone unturned in bringing the perpetrators to book. 3 weeks after the memorial, we saw action by the Hawks. Then 2 weeks after that, on 3 September, one of the men arrested for kidnapping Kariga resident Teresa Mini was also charged for being involved with the murder of Tracy Brown. This, Honorable Kruger, is swift and effective police crackdown on syndicates and significant intelligence operations under the leadership of Community Safety MEC Ngata that has to be commended. Chairperson, in mentioning this, I think the Chief Whip of the Democratic Alliance, Honorable Kasim, owes Honorable Ngata and the people of the Eastern Cape an apology for his deceptive remarks when he stood in the House on the 21st of August and compared the MEC to Emperor Nero playing the fiddle while Rome is burning, and said nothing is being done about the murder of Tracy Brown. And he did it quite convincingly. In fact, Honorable Kasim said his sources within the NPA, the Hawks and other law enforcement agencies told him there's a breakdown of trust.
Just hold on. Take a seat.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I rise in terms of Rule 80.2. I'd like to know if the member will take a question on the ANC's role as the main party in criminal syndicates.
Just hold on. You'd like
to know in terms of Rule 80.2 if the member will take a question on the ANC's role in criminal syndicates.
Honorable Kruger, let us not do that. Don't ask a member a question while you still want to ask him if he wants to take the question. Let's be civil. There is a public here that they must learn how we are conducting our business. Would you like to take a question, Honorable?
Chair, I'm sure there will be more questions towards the end of this debate. So you must just hold a thought and we can get to that a little bit later.
Thank you. Continue.
Because I'm not done with you yet. In fact, Honorable Kasim and his sources Honorable Kasim said on that day, his sources within the NPA, the Hawks and other law enforcement agencies told him there's a breakdown of trust within the law enforcement. Honorable Kruger also said that they were informed of the process of how intelligence works. Yet while Honorable Kasim was making these unbridled utterances around 3 o'clock on that day, the suspect of Tracy Brown's murder had already been arrested earlier on that same day. Chair, this was a very, very reckless statement by a public representative that could actually encourage criminals to disrespect the police. And the DA should be ashamed for trying to politicize Tracy Brown's killing. Honorable Kasim's supposed sources in the police are questionable. And I think the DA must answer as to why their provincial chair has sources in the police. Safe to say these sources have misled them and renders their Stratcom strategy to be just as poor as Premier Alan Winde's Western Cape safety plan. Coincidentally, Chairperson, also on the 21st of August, in the Western Cape Legislature, ANC MPL Khalid Sayed, leader of the effective opposition in the Western Cape, unlike the ineffective one we have here, asked a parliamentary question to Premier Winnie to provide stats on whether the Western Cape Safety Plan has worked since its inception in 2019, against the 2 billion rand of taxpayers' money it has spent over the past 5 years. Money that communities were not consulted on, nor was it budgeted for, whereby funds had to be taken from the education and the health departments of the Western Cape to try put this plan into motion. The DA's plan failed to reduce the murder rate. It's all there on social media and wherever you can go and look at it. It's there. On the Western Cape Legislature's page, like this one has a page, there's also a page, you can go watch it.
Honorable Pretorius.
The plan failed to reduce the murder rate in the 10 most...
Honorable Pretorius, speak to them through me and don't respond to them. Continue.
Chair, the DA's plan failed to reduce the murder rate in the 10 most violent areas in the Western Cape as promised, and basically spent all its budget on the appointment of its unmandated Cape Town City Leap officers. The Western Cape Premier failed to provide data-driven statistics, and in his response to Honourable Sayed, he basically shifted the blame to the ANC and implied that centralisation of policing powers after 1994 was the problem. Hence the DA game plan of pushing for the evolution of provincial police to probably try to recoup these lost monies. They turn everything into building a case for Western Cape instead of trying to help strengthen Eastern Cape policing. And at times, I feel for the Provincial Police Commissioner, who is treated as if there is a mole among them during this DA propaganda expedition. Chair of Chairs, the DA's approach to oversight and debates reminds me of Adolf Hitler's strategy on making the lie believable and keep repeating it so people could eventually be fooled to believe it. But fortunately, we know the people of the Eastern Cape cannot be fooled by apartheid apologists and a party built by National Party leaders who would have rather seen this country go to civil war than having peace and reconciliation. Chair, let me say one significant implementation. Just go research Tertius Delport. If he's not a National Party leader, then I don't know what is. Chair, let me say one significant implementation of the ANC-led government was the unification of fragmented apartheid policing structures into a single democratic police service called the South African Police Service. Before 1994, there were 11 racially and ethnically divided police forces serving the apartheid regime in Bantustans. The ANC government, through commitment to equality and justice, integrated these forces into one national system to ensure a service culture underpinned by Batupele principles. Chair, we should never be allowed to be dragged back to South Africa with devolved policing used to control and divide us. Honourable Chairperson, we recognize that crime prevention is not only a policing issue, but a socio-economic one as well. Therefore, we need to continue integrating social development, youth employment initiatives, and education programs to address the root causes of crime, in line with the National Development Plan and provincial safety strategies. For example, currently the Education Department, in conjunction with safety stakeholders, has initiated anti-bullying campaigns in schools across the province, and we applaud MEC Garda for this type of interdepartmental intervention to curb bullying. Cape Town should learn from this, given what has recently happened at Milnerton High School. Social development is also critical to safety to ensure community upliftment, and we are pleased with the progress MEC Fanta is making towards funding NGOs, along with a good economic development potential projected through the East London IDZ outlined by MEC Peters, and the caution on human settlements raised by MEC Lusiti to discourage illegal elements on housing occupation. Along with strengthening local governments, as outlined by MEC Williams, taking these factors into consideration, Chair, crime can be prevented, and the ideals of the Freedom Charter can be a reality to the people of Buffalo City. We have the ability in the Eastern Cape to turn the corner. We don't have to look anywhere else, Chairperson. I mean, if we are to go on the narrative that clean audits in Cape Town equate to a perfect government, then we don't understand why the DA is finding fault with the Eastern Cape government that received 6 clean audits and 7 unqualified audits in this year with no negative audit outcomes. Chair, Chair, this proves that the Eastern Cape is on an upwards trajectory under Premier Oscar Mabiane, unless clean audits only count in the Western Cape. Dr. Duba, as I conclude, rest assured the ANC remains committed to advance its mission towards a prosperous and safe society. We will continue to hold the department and the police accountable and never give up on the people of Buffalo City Metro and the Eastern Cape. Mense, ons moet net aanhou saamwerk ten spyte van ons verskille. And if we don't succeed today, we'll do better tomorrow. Kangane, sikusile, kangane, sizophumelela. Together, we can do more. Thank you, Kamagu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honorable Mvoko, standing in for Honorable Emerson Ngata, no reply to the debate. 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. Greetings to you, greetings to the members of the Executive Council, all honorable members of the House, all officials of government, abantu bakuthi abazimasela umsitho, bulisa kumntu wonke. Honorable Speaker, it's both an honor and a privilege to stand before this House today to welcome the report of the Portfolio Committee on Community Safety following their oversight visits to certain police stations in Buffalo City Metro. As I was listening to the two debates this morning, I was saying to myself, perhaps we need to ask ourselves, where did it all start? In the morning, ndimamele abantu bebonakalisa uthando lwabo nomdla wabo kwimfuyo nokulima. Emveni koko kungena abantu bethetha ngendlela icrime ebalasele ngayo ekuhlaleni. And I had to ask that question. Ndisibuze lo mbuzo. Mhlambi kuqalephi? I think we need to go back and trace that. Because the more than 300 years of colonialism and the more than 50 years of apartheid cannot resolve the problems we have as quickly as we want to. Now, if we think back, kwakixesha apho sasihlalisana kakuhle engekafika abantu basimoshayo baza nezi zinto sinazo today. Ngenghange sifune ezi police stations today. Abantu ngebehlala kweza ndawo behlala kuzo. Kwathi kwafika ixesha le-apartheid, abantu bathathwe ezindaweni bobekwa kwezinye indawo abangazazi yiloo nto sekule ngxaki. I think at some point in time we must reflect so that sibe nombono wale ngxaki sizibona sikuyo namhlanje. Yingxaki ke ngoku lena ejongene ne-African National Congress eyenziwe ngabantu bebonwabe for more than 300 years. Bezonwabele emhlabeni wodata bethu. Besenza yonke into abawufuna uyenza. Namhlanje kule 30 years sinikweyo bacinga ba singacima lamatyala ale 300 years. I'm just reflecting ukuthi kuyafuneka ke sihlale phansi sicinge into ba sifike njani kule ndawo sikuyo namhlanje. Honorable members, allow me also to take this opportunity to join the residents of the Buffalo City Metro and the entire province to strongly condemn the incident involving a 50-year-old educator who allegedly committed human trafficking and prostitution of young girls recruited from the former Transkei. We hope that her arrest will lead to a successful prosecution so that incidents of this nature will never happen again in our province. On behalf of the provincial government, I would like to extend our profound gratitude to the whistleblower who alerted the law enforcement agencies about this horrific incident. We continue to call on our people to report these terrible incidents as they continue to erode the government's attempts to build caring and responsible communities. Nankomnye umzekelo obonisayo ndiyayithanda ke elisebe lika Honorable Nqaitha kuba linento ethi musa ukuthula kusonakala. Yabona ke lo uziswe emthethweni ngabantu abathathele kubo into abathe bona asizokuthula kusonakala. Kwangakunganjalo ke kuzo zonke izinto ezenzekayo ezonakalisayo. Egameni losebo loluntu ndithanda ukudlulisa umbulelo ongazezinziyo kuba bonke abantu abathathe inxaxheba kwintlanganiso beziququzelelwa ikomiti yemicimbi yesebe lezokhuseleko noluntu ngethuba betyelela zonke izikhulu zamapolisa ezahlukeneyo kwesi sithili. Ukuzibandakanya kwabo kwezi ngxoxo kunye nokusebenzisa kwabo ngempumelelo kwamaqonga anikezelweyo ukuvakalisa inkxalabo kunye nokufumana izisombululo kwimiba enxulumene nokhuseleko loluntu siluxabise kakhulu. Utyelelo lokongamela uqhutywe iportfolio committee luthakazelwa kakhulu njengoko iBuffalo City Metro iyenye yendawo ezintathu ezinolwaphulo mthetho kweli phondo. Ngaphandle kwamathandabuzo olutyelelo lolongamelo luya kucaphula iinzame zethu ezihlangeneyo zokulwa ulwaphulo mthetho kwesithili. Isebe lezokhuselo loluntu kunye namapolisa jikelele sele liqalisile ukusebenza kwezinye zeengcebiso zekomiti ukujongana nokunqongophala kwezithuthi bekuchazwa ngabantu apha. I-SAPS yaodola iimoto ezingama-254 kunyaka mali ka-2025-26 kwaye iza kuzisasaza kwiphondo liphela kwingingqi yaseBuffalo City ize izithuthi zithi kwindawo ezininzi njengoko bezichaziwe apha. Ezinye ke zizawunikezelwa ngomhla we-24th ku-October. The committee also expressed concern about the state of some of our facilities. The state of facilities is mandated by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure and will continue to engage the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure on this matter. However, the water challenges at Timbaza Police Station has since been resolved and Qonce Police Station is currently under repairs. Honorable members, police in the Buffalo City are working hard to combat crime in the crime hotspots areas. In the past 3 months, SAPS has conducted operations across the district and managed to confiscate a lot of items, firearms, 71, ammunition, 361, Mandrax tablets, 3,936, dick, liquor, etc., etc. Malungu abe ahloniphekileyo olu lwazi lungasentla lubonisa ngokucacileyo ukuba luyayiphikisa ingcamango yokuba amapolisa akasebenzi kwidabi lokulwa isibetho seziyobisi apha eBuffalo City. Ndikwanqanela uthatha eli thuba ndicacise umahluko phakathi kweentlobo ezimbini eziphambili ngokusebenza kwechiza elingekho mthethweni, drug manufacturing den. This is a location specifically for the manufacturing or production of narcotics. It involves a process of chemical synthesis or preparation and includes storage of raw materials, precursors, and manufacturing equipment. The second one is drug outlet or the drug post. This refers to a location used for the storage and distribution of prepared narcotics. These are the points of sale and distribution that plague our communities. Based on the above information, the MEC for Community Safety correctly reflected in the parliamentary question that no large-scale drug manufacturing dens were identified and dismantled in PCM during the 2024-25 fiscal year. Now, this is a specific and crucial intelligence-driven classification. Our forces have been relentless in targeting the drug outlets and distribution networks that operate brazenly in our communities. In PCM and across the province, Numerous such outlets are raided, shut down, and disrupted on a weekly and monthly basis. Suspected premises are monitored continuously, and operations are executed based on intelligence and community tip-offs. SAPS iyayivuma ingxaki enzima yeziyobisi ejongene noluntu lwethu. Njengoko igxininiswe ngamaziko okubuyisela abantu kwisimo sangaphambili, the Rehabilitation Center, kunye neeforums zasekuhlaleni zesipolisa. Sabelana ngenkxalabo yabo kwaye sizimisele kulomlo. Iinzame zethu ziqhutywa zii-intelligence kunye neenkalo ezininzi. Kugxiniseke ukuqhawulweni lonke ikhonkco ukusuka kwindawo apho khona zokusabalalisa ukuya kwi-syndicate eziphezulu ezinikezela ngazo. SAPS ihleli ingagungqi ekuzibopheleleni kwayo ekudaleni indawo ekhuselekileyo nengenaziyobisi kubo bonke abemi. Mandiqinisekise, I want to reassure the Portfolio Committee and this House that our department, in collaboration with the South African Police Service, will work diligently to implement all the findings and recommendations of this report. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much, Honorable MSc. I put the report. Any objection? I will ask the Secretary to read the third order of the day.
Consideration of the final mandate report on the Public Service Amendment Bill, Bill 13D 2023, and Public Administration Management Amendment Bill, Bill 10B 2023.
I would like to call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on OTP, Honorable Saziwa. Your 10 minutes starts now.
Let me observe the already established protocol in the House. Because of time constraints, we won't read everything in the report. But I would like this House to note the coding of the Public Service Amendment Bill. Because during the time of the hearings, the bill was coded as B13B/2023. But in the report, the coding has changed to be Public Service Amendment Bill B13D because of amendments that have been effected by the Select Committee on Governance and Public Administration at the NCOP. Introduction captures what is required of each legislature once a bill has been referred to it. I won't read, but those 3-4 bullet points are directing the meeting to that. 2 public hearings were held in the province in 8 areas. For Buffalo City, they were held at OR Tambo Hall in Zwelicha on the 28th of March. 3.1 captures what the members of the public raised on the bill. I won't read, because down the report, after our negotiating mandate was submitted, many of those issues were not taken by the Select Committee in unison. Again, 3.2 captures what members of the public raised during public hearings, the 2 bullet points, the 3 bullet points there. The committee then had its meeting looking at the negotiating mandate that was held on the 3rd of April, which then was referred to the NCOP, which was discussed on the 10th of September 2025. When you consider those matters, the committee in 4.2 had those 2 areas of consideration. With regard to 4.3, there were no amendments that we effected in terms of the negotiating mandate. That takes us to the final mandate. The NCOP has to then respond to proposals coming from each province
And in 6.2 and 6.3, it captures how the NCOP responded to our mandates as each and every province. With regard to the Public Service Amendment Bill, the NCOP then made an addition that led to the bill's coding needing to be changed to be B13D instead of B13B. Point 8, the Select Committee on Cooperative Governance and Public Administration considered the proposed amendments contained in the provincial negotiating mandates on both the Public Service Amendment Bill and the Public Administrative Management Bill. The Select Committee has made amendments as set out above on the Public Service Amendment Bill. There are no amendments made by the Select Committee on Public Administration Management Amendment Bill. I think for this meeting, it's important to take note that what was amended by the Select Committee was in relation of the extension of the definition of a public office bearer, which says if as a member of a political party, you want to be employed in the office of the HOD or you want to be an HOD, you must not hold any office, not necessarily in terms of being an office bearer. If you are an NEC member, PC member, RC member, and so forth, you won't be employed. That is the only effect that was made there. Therefore, the Committee on the Office of the Premier recommends that the House confer authority to the permanent delegates to the NCOP to vote in favor of the two bills. I so thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Saziwa. Honorable Evers. Your 9 minutes starts now.
Chair of Chairs, honorable members and residents of BCM municipality, good day. Goeiedag, molweni. Today we stand at crossroads for the South African public service, a system long paralyzed by cadre deployment, corruption, and political interference. For decades, the promise of a capable professional state has been strangled by governing party that threatened administration as an employment agency, systematically deploying connected party loyalists into the state, not because they were fit to serve the people, but because they were useful to the party. The result has been service collapse, not service delivery. Sibavile mos abahlali bethetha apha ngendlela baphatheka ngayo kwamasebe kahulumende bengaphatheki kahle. Masithembe le bill izabancedisa. These bills before us, the Public Service Amendment Bill and the Public Administration Management Amendment Bill, represent the first legislative attempt in years to separate party from state, to professionalize the public service and to begin rebuilding a culture of competence and accountability. Chair of Chairs, the committee fulfilled its constitutional duty under Section 118. We conducted 8 public hearings across all regions of the province between the 25th and the 28th of March 2025 with additional virtual sessions as a call for written submissions. Into esivileyo ke bahlali, mandinicacisele, bathini abantu. Bathi yekani ukuvumela i-politicians iqashe ifamily neetshomi zabo. Akutsho thina, akutsho abahlali. Bathi abasebenzi baseburhulumenteni mabangayenzi ibhizinesi norhulumente. Kutsho abahlali. Bakugqibela bathi abantu abathatha imali kahulumente, taxpayers money, mabafakwe kwiiflet ezimnyama. Bayibhatala imali kahulumente. Communities are tired of seeing officials doing businesses with government, tired of nepotism in appointments, and tired of taxpayers' money vanishing through payrolls, abuse, and costs and ghost employees. The Democratic Alliance support the conferral of the final mandate in favor of both bills. We do so not as praise for the ANC icon, but because these bills finally reflect reform that the DA has fought for 2 decades: professionalization, merit-based appointments, and accountability. These reforms reflect DA policy victories, and many came directly from legislation drafted by the DA, including the NKD deployment bill. Key reforms we support: first, separating politics from administration. For the first time, the law will shift real administrative powers from politicians to head of departments. Ministers and MECs will focus on strategy. DGs and HODs will manage departments. That single change, if honored in practice, can begin to end political hiring and restore professionalism. Second, barring senior officials from holding political office. Clause 16 extends the definition of political office to include membership of any party executive committee at the national, provincial, or regional level. This is a direct DA victory taken from our NK deployment bill, and we welcome it. It is a decisive step towards a neutral civil service and a clear one for merit over loyalty. Thirdly, tightening controls on outside business and procurement. The Public Administration Management Amendment Bill closes loopholes that have enabled state capture, prohibit public servants from doing business with the state, and introduce a 12-month cooling-off period for officials leaving procurement roles. No longer resign today, consult tomorrow deals. Fourthly, recovering money lost to fraud and ghost employees. Clause 18 empowers departments to recover wrongfully paid remuneration through consent or court order. It closes the loophole that allows salaries to flow to the absent, the suspended, or the imaginary. Chair of chairs, in this province, we know better than most what happened when politics captures administration. Nelson Mandela Bay shows what happens when politics trumps competence. Council has repeatedly relied on provincial secondments to fulfill the top post, and by 1st October 2025, the Metro was on its 18th acting city manager in a decade, the 6th since 2020. In our provincial departments, the problem is the same. The Special Investigating Unit and the Auditor General both confirm cases of ghost employees in the Department of Health, salaries paid to people who do not exist. Education and Public Works face endless acting appointments and stalled disciplinary cases that cost the taxpayers millions every year. These are not accidents. They are the predictable result of cadre deployment. The DA supports these bills because they begin to dismantle the machinery that made this rot possible. However, die DA ondersteun hierdie wetsonderwerpe met oop oë. Sien as jy voel ameg. Passing legislation is the easy path. Implementation is where reform lies. Let us not pretend that merely shifting appointment powers from ministers to Director General guarantees clean governance. Many DGs and HODs have already been captured. That is why the DA will continue to push for the next phase of reform: transparent, merit-based recruitment, competency-tested appointment panels, and full criminalization of cadre deployment. Without these, the bill will amount to a legislative disguise for business as usual. Honorable Chair of Chairs, you cannot legislate integrity. The ANC cannot professionalize the state while it continues to operate National Deployment Committee that decides who run every department and municipality. Until that system is dismantled, South Africa will remain trapped in a cycle of collapse and cover-up. The DA will not allow these bills to become another promise betrayed by implementation failure. Suid-Afrikaners is moeg vir 'n staat polisie dien in plaas van die mense. Hulle is moeg om in lang rye te sit by SASSA kantore waar mense nie met respek gehelp word nie. Die klinieke sonder verpleegsters, skole sonder onderwysers. Suid-Afrikaners is moeg om op RDP-huislyse te sit vir dekades, net om te sien hoe die families van die mees connected huise kry in plaas van die mense wat dit regtig nodig het. These bills do not solve everything, but they take a critical step towards building a capable state based on merit, integrity, and service. The Democratic Alliance support the conferral of the final mandate in favor of both the Public Service Amendment Bill and the Public Administration Management Amendment Bill, while reserving the right to continue pushing for deeper reform, stricter accountability, and a complete end to ANC cadre deployment once and for all. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Evers. Honorable Zinde, your 4 minutes starts now.
Honorable Chair of Chairs, today we debate the committee report on the Public Service Amendment Bill and the Public Administration Management Amendment Bill, two critical instruments aimed at reshaping the culture and conduct of our public service. The UTM rise to both acknowledge the progress made and to highlight areas that demand sharper introspection. Firstly, let us commend the effort to professionalize the public service and to ensure that administrative authority rests with the head of department, allowing executive to focus on strategy. This is a progressive step towards accountability and efficiency. Similarly, prohibiting public servants from doing business with the state is an important stride in curbing conflict of interest that have long weakened public trust. However, we must be equally honest about the cracks that remain. For instance, the continued allowance of discretion through the word may in clause 2C still leaves room for selective application of accountability. A truly professional service cannot depend on personal discretion. It must depend on principle. Must should not be optional when it comes to exercising duties that affect the integrity of governance. Furthermore, the 30-day window for approving outside remunerative work is unrealistic. Departments are often overstretched and under-resourced, but even extending this to 60 days as proposed may not address the core issue, which is inconsistent monitoring. Instead, Honorable Chair of Chairs, as UTM, we propose that this process be digitized. Let every request, approval, or rejection be captured in a transparent provincial database accessible for oversight. This will not only speed up processing, but also prevent abuse. Another concern lies in the so-called 12 months cooling off period for employees involved in procurement. While it aims to stop corruption, we all know that a year is barely enough to dissolve the networks of influence that exist in the shadows of tenders. We should instead link this restriction to the scale of contracts handled. For example, a longer period for higher value contracts to ensure proportional deterrence. Honorable Speaker, this report also notes the extension of the definition of political office to include membership in executive party structures. That is commendable, yet it still overlooks the influence that political alignment holds even without formal office. We must begin to draw a firmer ethical line between public service and party politics. A public servant should serve the Constitution, not a caucus. In conclusion, we support the intention of these bills, but the challenge for us is to go further, to modernize oversight, to close loopholes with digital transparency, and to elevate professionalism beyond compliance into a culture of integrity. Reform should not just change the law, it must change behavior. I thank you. The UTM support the report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zindi. Honorable Tuabu, your 14 minutes. Your 14 minutes starts now.
Nkosi Islam. Ngondisalungisa le mic. Wandiqale kule ndawo. Masibulele ba namhlanje sike sividiyo isupporta iprogram ye-ANC. Siziyeke ezinye izinto ezibazithethayo. Siziqhelile izinto zabo. But Honorable Chair of Chairs, having greeted you, i-executive yonke lapha, ndanoba ukhona acting premier noba khona premier manje ephuma engena awubuyile amalungu onke endlu isomthetho i-leadership yase Buffalo City abasebenzi bakarhulumente abalapha abantu base Buffalo City molweni ngale njikalanga. I think, Honorable Chair of Chairs, mandiqale apha. This bill was introduced by the former Minister of Public Service and Administration, Ms. Noxolo Kivit, in 2023, and was referred to us in March 2024. Deselbage, abantu bangayiyamanisi ne-GNU. Bayazi bangumsebenzi we-ANC lo. Bawusupport, support. This is an ANC work that is being finalized. As Uber, Honorable Chair of Chairs, the ANC began by leading abantu base South Africa in the struggle for their liberation. When the ANC saw that it was approaching liberating the people of this country, it began a process of thinking of the kind of government that we must have based on the Freedom Charter. Babethe abantu base South Africa bafuna urhulumente onjani. Now the ANC used documents from other countries to lead this country to forming a constitution yearlies. So all the laws that are formed here in South Africa must comply with the Freedom Charter. And the Freedom Charter, the basis of, with the constitution of this country. This constitution, its basis is purely the Freedom Charter, and 70 years this year. So that's why I'm saying, Honorable Chair of Chairs, we thank the DA for the first time in this chamber for openly supporting the program of the African National Congress. We, as the ANC, Honorable Chair of Chairs, will talk more why we are supporting the endorsement of these two bills. The DA has said, this bill focuses on professionalizing public service, which is what the ANC is saying. Professionalization of public service has always been a standpoint that we are working for. Of course, Chair, the basis for support, it must be noted that with great appreciation that the process of public hearings were conducted by the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature to ensure that people of the Eastern Cape are part of processes of amendment and participating in the democracy of forming what is due for them as advised by the Constitution. Honorable Chair of Chairs, the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature has conducted public hearings on the Public Service Amendment Bill and Public Administration Management Amendment Bill. These bills mark a significant milestone in the ongoing efforts to enhance professionalism, efficiency, and responsiveness of public service and administration in the Eastern Cape and in South Africa. As ngongoma, you find them in Chapter 10 of the Constitution. Honorable Chair of Chairs, the two bills introduce provisions aimed at enhancing administrative powers, strengthening accountability mechanisms, and improving efficiency in the public service. These reforms align with the Premier Oscar Mabuyane's vision for a professional, efficient, and ethical public service, as emphasized in his State of the Province address this year. The Public Service Amendment Bill aims to address policy reform commitments and strengthen the public service. It proposes amendments to the Public Service Act to empower heads of departments with administrative powers, clarifying the role of Public Service Commission and providing clarity on the appointment and career incidents of heads of departments. These reforms are crucial for improving accountability, addressing corruption, and delivering efficient public service. Honorable Chair of Chairs, as the ANC, we are thrilled that our people have participated fully during the process of public hearings, as the amendments are about them, and where there were uncertainties, the uncertainties were clarified. Where they made proposals, those proposals were taken into consideration. Honorable Chair of Chairs, there's been a lot of confusion with regards to the wrongful and overpayment of employees by employers and how that money is supposed to be recovered from the employee. Therefore, community members requested clarity on wrongful payment to an employee by employer, particularly on how the money will be recovered. This was responded to, that there must be a consensus between the employer and the employee on this. If there is no consensus, the employer may recover the money through a legal route. So we hope that this clarifies the matter and there will be no confusion going forward, because in the past and present, you find that employers unilaterally take decisions and deduct your salary without the employee's consent. Honorable Chair of Chairs, these amendments could not have come at a better time than now. There's been challenges and problems when it comes to executive authority and administrative authority, wherein the lines of operations needed to be cleared as to where each of the two authorities begin and ends. Therefore, Honorable Chair of Chairs, we are pleased that community members welcomed the removal of administrative powers from executive authorities to enable the head of department to exercise administrative powers while the executive authority focuses more on strategic matters. Similarly, Public Administration Management Amendment Bill seeks to harmonize critical aspects of public administration across all spheres. The bill emphasizes the improvement of state capacity and capability through the transfer and secondment of employees, the promotion of ethical standards for public service, the reconfiguration of the National School of Governance, the removal of disparities in conditions of services, the better coordination of determination of conditions of services for all employees in the public administration. Honorable Chair of Chairs, the Eastern Cape government has been fighting against government employees who are doing business with the state. It has not been an easy, however, through stringent controls being put in place and serious consequence management being implemented to these found on the wrong side of the law with regards to this practice of corruption, the provincial government is winning the battle. We are pleased that attendees supported the provision prohibiting public service employees from conducting business with the state, including organs of the state, stating that the government officials must not be allowed to do business with an organ of the state through tenders. There are also those who participate as employees in tender processes, but in a short space of time, get employed by the very same companies they gave tenders to. The bill is saying at least a year must have lapsed before you can join a company in which you participated, that company gets a tender. Furthermore, the bill protects employees who are transferring from local government administration to the other spheres of government. Their pensions will actually be managed properly. They'll be able to transfer their pensions from one pension fund to another. However, Speaker, voting in favor of this public amendment bill and public administration management bill represents a significant step forward in ongoing journey to professionalize the public service, enhance efficiency, and better service the needs of people of South Africa. However, Chair of Chairs, the ANC supports the committee's proposal that the House confer authority to the permanent delegates to the NCOP to vote in favor of the bill as presented. I thank you, Honorable Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kamu. May I call upon the Acting Premier, Honorable Williams, to reply to this.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs, members of the Executive Council, Honorable leadership of Buffalo City Municipality, leaders of civil society, traditional leaders, religious leaders. Today we are gathering to debate, to submit our final mandate in the Public Service Amendment Bill and Public Administration Management Bill, which marks a fundamental shift from Public Service Commission Act 46 of 1997. The Public Service Commission Act was enacted to promote the constitutional values and principles of public administration in the public service at a provincial and national levels of government. As we meet here today, we are reminded that democracy must evolve and strengthen over time through institutional reforms. Education and awareness, protection of human rights, economic development, and increased citizen participation at all levels of government. Our government remains with a responsibility to ensure that democracy lives in the hearts, the voices of our people, in constitutionalism of our country, and jurisprudential system where our daily struggles are protected. This is why the legislature, as the people's house, must continuously return to the people. It must listen, engage, account, and inspire participation, because democracy grows stronger when the governed are also governing. The Public Service Amendment Bill and the Public Administration Management Bill are essential legislative instruments designed to modernize and strengthen the framework governing public administration in our country. These bills address key areas such as improving the integrity and professionalism of public service, establishing clearer procedures for acting appointments, and regulating outside employment to prevent conflicts of interest. They also introduce measures to enhance accountability, ensure ethical conduct, and promote transparency within government operations. The amendments proposed, including extended cooling off periods for employees involved in procurement, and tighter restrictions on public servants conducting business with organs of state, are aimed at reducing risks associated therewith, thus fostering public trust. The enactment of these bills is significant because they reflect a deliberate effort to align our public administration practices with international best practices, thereby promoting good governance, efficiency, and service excellence. They are integral to creating a capable, ethical, and accountable public service that responds effectively to the needs of our citizens and upholds the principles of transparency. Ultimately, these legislative reforms are foundational to strengthening our democratic institutions and ensuring that public resources are managed responsibly. Their successful implementation will introduce and contribute significantly to fostering a culture of integrity, professionalism within the public sector, which is vital for sustainable development and a prosperous nation. Honorable Chair of Chairs, true empowerment is not only about access to services, but also about citizens' participation, accountability of all those in the public service, and the power bestowed on all Chapter 9 institutions who are entrusted with the protection of democracy in our country. Through continuous reviews of where we are with our program of transformation and what challenges are there in our struggle, we give a real meaning to participatory democracy. Our responsibility is to empower citizens, to monitor government performance, to shape policy priorities, and to demand better where we fall short. As the Eastern Cape Provincial Council, we welcome these bills. They strengthen the Public Service Commission and put it at par with other Chapter 9 institutions in the country. These bills extend the scope of the Public Service Commission to cover areas which were not covered before. In this regard, I refer to municipalities and state-owned entities. The importance of this is that the local government sphere is the one close to the service needs of the people and at the coalface of our program of transformation. The state-owned entities are the engines towards economic development and economic revolution. They cannot continue to be ivory towers in the process where we need to speedily unfold change in our country to ensure freedom and human rights for all. Together, let us complete the incomplete in this work and ensure that we engage all stakeholders and constituencies to support this new course we have selected to build our nation and strengthen our democracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable MSc. Honorable members, I put the report of the Portfolio Committee on the Office of the Premier. Any objection? Honorable members, all the reports for the day have been dealt with and duly adopted. That concludes the discussion and the business for today. On behalf of the Executive Committee of the Legislature, I wish to extend a word of appreciation to the members of the public for their participation. We wish to express our utmost gratitude to the Troika of the Buffalo City Metro and all councillors, the traditional and Khoisan leadership, and all stakeholders of the area. Without you being our gracious host, we could not have done this. A special gratitude to Mayor, Councillor Princess Faku, the Speaker, Councillor Mprima Xegwana, as well as the Chief Whip of the Metro, Councillor Mhlola, for setting aside your busy schedule to form part of the proceedings since Tuesday. A special word of gratitude to the team of officials from the Metro under the leadership of the City Manager, Mr. Mqoli Siyawa, for the cooperation and assistance since our arrival here in the Metro at the City Hall in September 2025. You are an embodiment of the public servant. Equally so, a big thank you to all government departments who worked with our team to put up a successful program. You have not gone unnoticed. Thank you for being there, for answering all, guiding our team in the right direction. Our staff of the legislature, your tireless and relentless work has once again paid off. You are the best. Keep going, Secretary and your team. Honorable members, thank you for your attendance to the plenary for the past 3 days. And you are all reminded to form part of the Litsima program. And I'll ask Advocate Beja to indicate the program. Advocate Beja.
Thank you, Honorable COC. It is supposed to